Hey everyone, Brayden here coming to you with a breaking Disney news video. Today it happened. The Disney Skyliner Gondola system is back up and running at Walt Disney World following the incident last weekend. Last time we spoke on Thursday, I showed you video of the Skyliner testing Disney was doing where the cabin load area was completely blocked off to not only guests but cast members, everyone. The actual area where you get on and off the cabin, that was coned off. But yesterday on Sunday, there started to be some indications of possible reopening as all those cones had disappeared, and it is likely that some cast and crew were actually on board testing the system the day before the opening, and then now today the Disney Skyliner Gondola system has reopened with some new signage, statements from Disney, and one actual operational change to the gondolas themselves. First off, Disney released a new statement with the reopening today saying, quote, "Following a complete review with the manufacturer, we've made adjustments to our processes and training, and we are improving how we communicate with guests during their flight with Disney Skyliner. We again offer our deepest apologies to guests impacted by the malfunction that resulted in extended operating delays on October 5th. Similar to ski lift systems, Disney Skyliner may slow or come to some stops during the ride, particularly when we need to accommodate guests who require additional time to load their cabin. We want to assure you the comfort of every guest is important to us. We greatly appreciate your ongoing patience and understanding, and we look forward to welcoming you back aboard Disney Skyliner." So a couple things here. Firstly, we still have no official word on what actually happened on October 5th with the aqua car that got stuck, causing that pile up, broken glass, and guests stranded for 3.5 hours. Also, did you notice that in the statement, Disney said, "We are improving how we communicate with our guests during their flight with Disney Skyliner." Now, we know from guests, viewers of this show, that actually got stranded last weekend for those 3.5 hours. The worst part was the continuously playing Skyliner has stopped message. The message when the system isn't moving, it says, we've stopped, we'll get moving soon. It's very loud, and for 3 hours, I mean, if that message just kept playing and playing and playing, it's probably still playing in your brain when you go to sleep that night after hearing it for 3 hours. We also heard from the Disney Dish podcast with Jim Hill. A listener of theirs actually used the emergency call box located inside of their gondola to ask the operator what was going on. The operator didn't really seem to know what to say from what the guest reported, but the interesting thing is other gondolas actually responded to the operator's response to the listener's gondola, meaning that other gondolas could actually hear what was happening on a different gondola. So basically all those emergency call boxes, it's like a party line where everyone can hear each other. So clearly there's some communication and some announcement stuff that Disney is probably going to be updating here as just the first thing that they need to change following this incident. What I think is going on here, first priority is that improving the communication to aid guests if the system does ever have another unexpected downtime like the last one, where Disney can actually pass information along to the guests instead of them having to find out from like Twitter or not having any idea what's going on and having to find pictures online while they're in their gondola, which definitely cannot help stress-wise. And with that, the Skyliner is back open. But on October 16th, the Hollywood Studios line is going to be closed all day, while Pop Century Art of Animation and the Epcot lines will be running limited hours from 1 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And then the next 2 days, the 17th and 18th, all the lines will be remaining closed in the morning, opening at 1 p.m. What is Disney doing with this downtime? Well, perhaps they'll be testing those new communication methods Disney teased that they've yet to elaborate on. Whatever the case may be, personally, I'm not planning on using the Disney Skyliner as a regular transportation method based on the system that currently exists. You can have an individual, highly trained expert operator on the line with every single cabin. If the system gets stuck again, but next time in broad daylight in the Florida sun, I don't think communication is going to be the real issue. There's just simply no way you can get everyone off fast enough. These systems need a static cooling method now, and quite frankly, I'm shocked the system opened in the same state that got it in the last incident, where they were lucky enough where the malfunction happened at night. Like, that wasn't divine intervention enough. Absolutely crazy. On top of all of that, there is new signage now posted at the stations, which reads, similar to other gondola systems around the world, flights aboard Disney Skyliner may occasionally be interrupted with stops and delays, which makes sense, because all the gondolas on each line, they are on one physical line. So if guests need to load slower at one of the stations that the line is connected to, Disney has to slow down or stop the line in order to allow those guests to board. Except I have reason to believe at one point the gondola system was supposed to have moving walkways, moving load platforms, which would mirror the speed of the gondolas in the station, allowing guests to load from the platform into the gondola with both moving at an equal speed to each other. So physically, it's like they're stopped, but still the system would actually be moving, getting guests to and from their destination more efficiently. But like the AC, it has long been the rumor that that plan was cut. And when I put that out on my personal Twitter at Sir Brayden in like a satirical manner, people are like, other gondola systems don't have moving walkways. What are you talking about? Yes, that's true. And guess what? Other gondola systems aren't in Walt Disney World, the biggest tourist destination on Earth. Other gondola systems aren't trying to use the system for continuous mass transit for hundreds of thousands of guests in their literal city like Disney is, okay? So the fact of the matter is, it's a little bit of a different situation when you're talking about a place like Disney. So when people make those sort of comparisons, like, oh, I don't know, at the San Diego Zoo, they don't do stuff like that. Like, it's not a fair comparison. It's Walt Disney World. Like, oh, they don't need AC. The system works fine without AC. Maybe that's true, but guess what? It's Walt Disney World. It's supposed to be a premium experience, and Disney is pricing it like a premium experience. So I don't really think there's much of an excuse there as to why we sometimes see these sort of cuts made. The other thing is, other systems around the world don't have a line with another station in the middle with no stationary loading area like the Riviera station. That station, if a guest needs to load with the gondolas not moving, needs to load with them stationary, Disney will have to stop the entire Epcot to Caribbean Beach line to accommodate them. And Disney is great with the accessibility stuff. My mom has trouble walking. I pushed her around in a wheelchair many trips as a kid. I know firsthand how great Disney is at accommodating that stuff. What I am saying though is, if we had those originally rumored moving walkways at the Riviera station that were mirroring the speed of the gondolas going through the station, guests could load while the gondolas were in motion because the moving platform would be moving at the same speed of the gondola they were loading, making for a much more efficient loading process. But it wasn't in the cards budget-wise, and here we are. I'm still gonna board the Skyliner for the purposes of getting content for you guys about the system and for views that you get from the gondola and everything like that. But if you or anyone in your family has reservations about being stranded during an unexpected downtime like last weekend, do not risk it. Do not ride. Just like I say with the monorail, if you're not willing to get stuck on that beam for an hour and have to be taken out through the roof by emergency personnel, which literally happened last month, do not ride. Take the ferry. For the Skyliner connected stuff, Disney has brand new buses with onboard Wi-Fi, with charging ports, with figments on them. And those don't have random stoppages and delays, minus street lights and traffic, of course. I really don't enjoy harping on Disney transportation like this, but I just don't understand the philosophy, seeing what happened with the system last weekend and reopening it in the same state as is with some additional signage and saying we're going to improve the communication. This system needs cooling, something, some cheap fans that are suction cupped onto the glass, or something more extensive in the future, like some sort of air conditioning, like what they have with the exact same gondola vehicles out in London, that Doppelmayr system. Let me know your thoughts on the Disney Skyliner gondolas reopening at Walt Disney World and those modified operating hours coming in a couple of days. It'll be interesting to see what Disney is doing there. Be sure to subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss any of the latest Disney news. There's a lot going on in Walt Disney World. I actually have another video to record, so I'll be here talking to you very soon from the Mickey Views Magic Studio, now located in Orlando, Florida. Thank you so much for watching. This is Brayden. Have a magical day.